So, Cesare, you are able to head the crew to the bookbinder's office, which is eerily in the same district. It's only maybe 4 or 5 doors up. This intimate
I'm sorry. It's like, let's go. And here we are.
Wait, we made it. Haha. We're okay. That's all right. You have to travel a little more than a mile for the next one. So enjoy getting your steps in later. So this little intimate storefront is connected to a small apartment that has been closed and boarded up for the last 3 years since Monet's death. It appears as you're able to just kind of like push open the door and walk in. It's already been ransacked for anything of value. As you guys are looking around, you're pulling back, beat up draperies, whatever furniture has been broken around. You're not seeing a whole lot. And then I need a spot hidden check.
From everyone.
My neighbors are having a real wild party. Oh, well done, guys.
That's a success.
That's a success.
Okay.
Pascal has rubbed soot in his eyes and he cannot see.
Oh my god. Ooh, so close to a fumble.
Brigitte is too angry, really, to focus on anything. She's just prowling. It's very much like a panther. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it.
Extreme success for Cesare.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So Cesare, as you guys are looking about, it seems to be like your left heel seems to be the lucky one to pull things off the floor or to knock over secret trapdoors. But
keeper. That's what we're gonna call it.
That's what we're gonna call it. Luck. I rolled an extreme. Damn you. You see 2 things here. One, someone within the last month, probably the Inquisitor, has been here conducting the exact same search that you have. You can see signs of recent movement compared to the last 3 years of this place being idle. But you are able to find something that he did not. On one of the walls that leads directly into what would be his apartment, there's a wooden panel that's on the floor that's flush with like the floor that you recognize is pretty impressive engineering. It's one of those push ones where you actually push it in and it pops out.
So I think what Cesare is seeing is sort of imagining the Inquisitor kind of engaging in his search. And as I'm watching him and I'm following in his footsteps, I noticed this thing that he was not looking at. And it would make sense not to see it. And he didn't, apparently. But I cited, I'm going to wave Armand over and point at it and ask, what do you think that is?
No.
And Cesare will dearly hope that Armand will go ahead and touch it and see what it is.
You pushed the booby trap.
I probably will, I mean, I opened up a lid, so I'll probably, interact with what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Okay. So inspired or set up by a friend, as who knows with Cesare. I
like to let others take the lead sometimes. It's just sharing it around.
Yeah, especially if it's like booby trapped or something. So Armand, you push the piece of wood in and the wall coughs at you.
Oh
yeah, dust kind of comes over you. And it takes a second for you to air it out, but you can see that there are a series of small black journals that are just placed very neatly, leaning across the inside of the wall there.
I feel like I have a feel like I was possibly set up for this. So as I grab 2 journals, one for myself and I'm handing the other one to Cesare, I'll be like, you knew that was going to happen. And then I hand him the book.
I will I'll give a moment of mirth and say something along the lines of, I believe you are destined for great things, Monsieur Dupont.
Get reading. Go on.
Okay. 3 books. One is in Armand's hands, another one's in Cesare. Who's the third one going to, or is it going to anyone?
I'll take it.
Okay. Pascal. Can I get the 3 of you to roll me int checks? Because as you're flipping through the book, and I'm just talking as you're rolling, you see that each of these journals cover a small period of time from 1762 to 1764. However, outside of that, everything else is coded. It doesn't make any sense. The words don't make sense. Is it French? Yeah, that's French, but it's not. And then talk to them. Wow. Okay.
I I got a hard success. I could spend luck to make it extreme. I'm not sure if I should.
Not worth it. A keeper will give you that. I won't let you burn unnecessary luck points.
Pascal forgot he can't read.
Yeah.
Cesare, there's a reason Cesare tries to encourage other people to take actions. While he is intelligent, the rolls do not go his way, and he cannot break the cipher.
That's okay. Your colleagues are struggling, Armand, and you are too. And then it's just like, oh, I see what he's doing. Okay, hey, can I see page 3 of yours? Because that's part of the key. Can you flip to the back page? Okay, so the 3 of them together laid out. You're able to actually put this together. And Armand, here's what you are catching. Again, these are journal entries that lead from 1762 to 1764. The latest entry is June 4th, 1764. For those who have your calendars and your wits about you, this would be the day before Mademoiselle de Clare was killed by the beast. Last entry was the day before she died. Armand, each of these line items that you're able to finally put together after floating all 3 of these journals parallel with each other, they're line items and they don't have any names. They only have initials. And there's various initials. They're repeating. There's maybe 20, 30 of them. But by each initial is a payment that's being issued. It's being signed off by an MC, which is probably, or EC, which is Mademoiselle de Clare. And then also a JM, you're assuming Jacques de Monet. And by each one of these line items and the payment, you're getting these reoccurring phrases: round face, blonde hair, blue eyes, curly brunette, and they're rotating like that.
Oh no, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, with a hard success, it doesn't take you long to realize this is the ledger from them exploiting the kids to other people in the town. And it looks like payment was being split in a 50-50 distribution between the bookbinder and Emily de Clare, the head of the orphanage.
You know what? Maybe we shouldn't kill this werewolf. It sounds like they're a good werewolf.
Honestly, I'm starting to agree. And I look to Brigitte and say, I think this place warrants burning down as well, once we make sure we have these ledgers and these names.
Oh, I'm already building a fire.
Yeah,
Just like in a corner. I'm keeping it contained, but because I'm not super great at the whole reading thing for a witch, I'm just sort of building this little fire in the corner and just looking around like I can't wait to burn the motherfucking place down.
Yeah. Okay. Gabrielle, as this information is being, announced, distributed, and your sister is already like, burn it. What are you up to right now?
I'm watching the opening, the street itself, because as we go from place to place, it is, especially given whom has been in charge of this sort of defilement that's gone on, other people know that this has gone on. Other people in the town are aware of this, and they'll know once we go from the orphanage to the bookbinder that we're on to something. And so I'm just watching our back.
Bravely done. I won't waste your roll. I won't waste your time with a roll when there's nothing to see. But it's just one of those things, your hackles rise just slightly because you're aware that you might be in danger.
Yep.
Cesare?
Go ahead.
Can
I ask Armand a quick question?
By all means.
Based on his excellent deciphering of this code. So some of the lettering seems to refer to possibly Francois de Menac, the 4th victim. Is there lettering suggesting the involvement of Father Jean-Pierre Alnot?
Oh, do I see initials for that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No.
Is there any initialing suggesting the involvement of the Marquis himself, the one we had breakfast with? Okay.
How many customers does it look like are listed or indicted in the ledger?
About 30 different customers. About 30 customers, and you're looking at about 12 kids.
And the population of this village was like 1,500 when this all started?
Yeah, it was like 1,500. So whatever was going on was an intimate operation that they had.
I think we take the children when we go and we burn this place.
And Cesare, it is worth noting out loud. Your character may or may not be thinking it. The keeper's just going to put it out there right now. Those ledgers are something that your cardinal would kill villages outright for. He can get the names of those people. He can tie that back to the king. He can tie that back to the marquis. If he can tie that back to anything, this is the type of information that he could get fat on for years.
I think I'm not going to do this sneakily. I think it's better if I do it openly. I will suggest, yes, we should burn this place, but we should preserve this evidence.
I think we should take it with us.
Well, yeah, we need to track down the initials these people belong to and butcher them.
I will not touch them. You take them, but I will not. And I spit at the books.
Nice.
Armand, you can dictate, obviously, sort of how close you hold these books to your chest, but Cesare will very much offer at any opportunity to, just store them in horse number 2, if you recall from last session.
Mm-hmm. I think that that makes sense.
Okay. Brigitte and Gabriel, as you guys are leaving, and you've set yet another building on fire. This town loves you guys at this point. Like, we're already going through hell, and you guys are setting our shit on fire.
You know what? These buildings are condemned, okay? We're doing a civil service.
The city has already said it.
They were murder sites. Nobody was going to use them anyway.
Hashtag facts.
I'm not worried about it. I'm going to blame it on the Black Musketeer anyway.
Or the
That's
idiot.
fine.
Or the idiot. He trips over himself, knocks his lantern over, and sets things on fire. I mean, what
Also
can you
works. Y'all are good.
Do? Falls down
Brigitte-
ropes.
The king
Brigitte
sent
and
us here
Gabriel?
as a demolition crew.
Knock it down, burn it out. Brigitte and Gabrielle, it's one of those things as you're leaving location 1 and leaving location 2. That simmer of anger and rage now has just been kicked over to like medium heat.
Is it because the building's burning?
I wish I were that clever to have tied that together, but I wasn't. Where are you guys heading next?
To the
You're
chapel
looking at
after
late
the
afternoon now.
objections.
We go to
Probably the
church.
chapel.
The
Okay.
church was next.
All right. I told you had to walk like a mile on this one. You'll get your steps in, Pascal.
I don't know if I will burst into flame when I set foot on the holy ground, but
You might. So it takes about casual 6-7 minute walk for you guys. You're pretty fit. To hike the mile to the other side of town where this chapel is. It's interesting because as you're leaving and this building is starting to catch flames, there's like one occupant that steps out of a house, looks at the fire, looks at you all, goes right back into the house.
hiss at them. Just to give them encouragement to stay inside.
Stir your ass inside. I love the hissing. The hissing is just such a great. Cesare, you are going to have to pass by your favorite brothel on the way to the chapel. And it's just one of those things. The same thing as you guys walk by, there are women hanging off of the balcony who are just coldly staring at all of you. But when they do catch eyes with Cesare, it seems like all of their attention stays on him as they're just coldly watching him move down the street.
I will try and have in mind roughly how many of them there are.
4.
Okay.
Yep, you're looking at 4.
You
Which
can move 4 people.
you can move 4 people. And this used to be, this was a hot spot in town. Like, they had 30 girls and guys working here. And
Maybe
there's 4.
maybe don't refer to places as hotspots.
Hotspot.
That's probably not a good.
Not
not
in
good
this
for us.
game.
No, too suggestive.
I mean, I can make it a hot spot.
You have twice already.
And it's on fire. See what
And
you
it's
did,
on
Bridget.
fire. The chapel is a 2-story brick building that has actually been kept up despite the devastation that has struck the region. It stands at the end of a busy street, a few doors down from the brothel. And as you guys approach, you can see that there is an old weathered horse out front of the chapel, along with a wagon. It is one of those open top wagons, and it's filled right now with boxes and trunks, and there's a tarp that's stretched out across it. And as you look up the steps to this little small chapel, you can see a summons attached to the front door signed by the marquis. And it is basically one of these massive summons that you've seen all over France at this point, that the chapel has been decommissioned due to the current suppression of the Jesuits. And as you're there, you're looking at the horse, you're looking at the wagon, you see a man in his mid-30s. He's coming down the steps. He's in completely casual clothing right now, other than he has like, the Jesuit cross on him. And he's dragging a trunk that is far too heavy for him, as he's like pulling and tugging it and working his way out of the chapel. And looks like he's mid-eviction.
I will whisper to my companion, sort of just loud enough to catch everyone up. That appears to be Father Montreux, a known Jesuit and a surviving acolyte when Father Jean-Pierre Ardnaud was slain in the chapel. And I'll let everyone else take it from there.
Bravely done. Good catch up for the audience too.
I'm going to prowl up to him, just without even stopping to think.
Okay.
I don't think very much. I just do things.
Yeah, and you're on medium high right now too. You're good. You're good. So you prowl up to him, and he starts. He
nearly naked woman, yes.
Yeah, that he starts, and he looks to you, narrows his eyes for a bit, and he says, "Mademoiselle, I am sorry, the chapel is closed."
Oh, well, it will have to be open. We are investigating the werewolf.
And he smiles pitifully, and he says, are you picking up where the Inquisitor left off?
Oui. And the little ones going around abusing the children, no?
And
you have any knowledge of this? And just sort of moving, almost like a predator cat, slinking around him, watching to see if I think he's involved in this in any way.
Sniffing it out.
If he is, I will rip his throat out.
Yes! When you make that statement, he very obviously narrows his eyes and looks to you, confused. And then he's furthermore confused and possibly potentially aroused as to why you're like stalking around him. So after he kind of like reconciles that for a minute, he like looks down at the rest of you like, the fuck is going on here? He doesn't say that, but that's the look he gives you like, what?
I step
This
forward.
seems...
Someone was harming the little children. And doesn't your holy book say that the ones who harm the children, they will suffer the most?
Mademoiselle, my apologies, but I don't know who you are or what you're saying to me. He looks over to Gabrielle almost for like help, since he did step up. Like, translate?
It's very simple. We have found evidence that there have been a series of abuses done to children in this city. It is not directly related to what we are investigating here, but you'll forgive me that it takes precedence. And so I would implore you to answer my sister's question. Do you have anything to do with it?
No, Mademoiselle, I don't. This is the first that I'm hearing of hurt children.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the father and what happened to him?
The Padre, Jean Elno, he's dead. He's been long dead for 3 years now.
Do you remember anything from how he died?
I know that he died here. That was the one that found him. The beast came. It was very sad.
So, how could it, in your religion, enter your holy ground? I thought it was a safe place.
And he smiles, and then he looks at the eviction order on the door, and he says it was a safe place, but His Majesty has, and before he can finish that sentence, he dials that shit back really fast. He's getting ready to say some slick shit about the king, but he dials it back super fast. Like, ooh, let me keep that in my mouth.
I'm gonna use that opportunity to intercede, and I'm heading to the very heavy case that he was carrying.
Okay.
And as he sort of trails off, I will pick up the thread and say, His Majesty is, of course, wise in the courses of action he sees fit, including the repossession of assets of the Order of Jesuit priests on behalf of the people of this land. And I'll put a foot on top of the locker that he was carrying.
Okay.
I'll look at it suggestively. and I'm trying to suss out whether I wanted a psychology roll, sort of to see like how he was reacting to the Devereaux's questions. But I'm hoping that maybe we can get a bonus die or something by kind of squeezing him by drawing attention to this case, because it's a heavy case, and frankly, anything he possesses is the property of the Jesuit order, which means it's the property of the king.
Hashtag facts. I tell you what, go ahead and roll me an intimidate with a bonus. Is that fair for you?
Go.
That feels right for what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that me and Dice, we've been on good terms, but alas, the way I play my characters is not necessarily the way they're statted.
I understand.
All right, so let me make a straight up intimidate roll.
Holy
oh my!
shit.
Oh my!
Whoa!
Wow!
Oh my
yeah,
gosh!
I feel pretty fucking good about that.
Wow.
Sorry, language.
He rolled a 4, guys. I know you guys can't see it.
Yeah. Because my intimidate is just 15.
Woo!
Cesare talks a big game, but he is not particularly charming. He's not particularly personable. He's not good at, getting his meaning across. But apparently he was very blatant about what he was doing this time.
Woo! Foot on the heavy trunk. Give me just give me a little bit more narrative, because you hit a 4 and he's about to spill what he knows.
I will. Is it locked?
It is not.
Okay. Let's say maybe that it has a fairly crappy lock on it, just so I can kick it off.
Okay. All right. Boot on the chest. You kick it off. Just from the sheer force of it, the trunk jumps, and you're standing right there. You can see inside of it. Looks like manuscripts, documentation, books, and it's all Jesuit related. Looks like he was definitely trying to smuggle this out, because this should have been surrendered at his decommissioning. It should have been surrendered and burned. Looks like he's trying to smuggle this out. That's why it's so heavy. He wasn't smart enough to put the books in like small trunks, like we've learned to do over his years. And he stammers, and he steps back, and he says, Monsieur, Mademoiselle, Monsieur, I give you my word, I know nothing about harmed children.
Armand would like to put a hand on his shoulder in trying to reassure him, but also use this as an opportunity to say, could you let us into the chapel just so we can look around? We won't say anything. And I look to the rest of the party to kind of try to nod, be like, we won't say anything about the manuscripts.
Don't care.
Exactly.
He nods to you. Armand's like, yeah, we, of course, but his eyes are still locked on Cesare. He is absolutely terrified right now, and it's not going to take more than just asking him questions to get pretty much anything you want off of him. He's that fragile after that moment.
So
yeah, I'm not making any commitments. I'm just letting everyone else do whatever.
If there are, I would assume there's probably a key ring that would go to this place. For the key. So he's wearing his regular Jesuit outfit. Is that obvious when it comes to what he's wearing? Is he wearing it on a belt loop, or can I tell where?
Yeah, it's on a belt loop, so it's visible to you. You can snatch it off.
I just reach out and rip the keys off of him.
I mean, he's like this at this point.
And then I stalk towards the church.
There is a moment, you guys all see it. It's not even fleeting. It's a hard pause where he stops and he looks down the road like, could I make it? I don't know.
And
I got
glare
hissing
at him.
Yeah, we're going inside.
I was like, don't think. Thinking gets men in trouble. Don't do it. Until I am certain you are not involved. And I am going to follow him into the church.
Okay.
Watching him.
He was getting ready to rabbit, but he is on his way into the church.
Oh, he is not going anywhere that I don't want him to go right now.
So he's going to make eye contact with the person that feels safest, which is Armand. You've got hissing claws out, sister. Gabriel just snatched his keys off and walked into his not house anymore. Cesare just owned his soul. So he's going to have this conversation out loud, projecting, but he's talking to you, Armand. And he says, I will tell you what I know. You may think I'm crazy, but this is what I know.
You'd be surprised. I probably a lot of things that have happened in this town within the past day or so have really questioned my sanity.
And he actually gives you a sympathetic, like heartbroken smile. Like he can relate that. He can understand. I mean, he's getting kicked out of his home and his profession right now. He definitely gets like things change fast.
Are we like spread out enough for me to kind of be able to drop my voice and have a moment where I can say something to him like very quietly?
Yeah, I'll give you that narrative because it's sexy.
I think like as everyone is maybe like, you know, in the chapel, possibly looking around at things, Armand is going to very quietly like make eye contact with him and say, like you, I am also a man of the faith. I understand that it's a very hard time for us. I don't want you to be afraid of speaking to me, but I do need to know what happened and if there's anything happening with the children, because you and me both know that if the father was involved in any of this, it would be quite bad.
Armand, the second you start dropping words like us, you have to talk to me, that kinship immediately tethers you to him. You can see that his eyes are getting ready to well up. It looks like he could just cry from just his sheer relief of having a brother with him right now who knows what's going on, but also one that's weirdly working for the king. That's like the best spy shit of the week for him. So everyone else can see Armand whisper something faintly, and then you can see just the shoulders and the stress come off of him. He says, it started with the children. I don't know. And he looks to you very intentionally, Brigitte. I don't know of any abuses or any danger that children were put in, but the orphanage, it caught fire. We had nowhere to put the children. The father suggested that the children come here. They were here for as long as we could hold them until we found them adoptable parents, or we sent them off into other places. But shortly after the last of the children were dispersed, Father Alno became very secretive. He began prowling around at night. He began having visions. I don't recall exactly what they were. I thought he was ill at the time, but he kept waking up in the middle of his sleep, screaming out, "Make it stop." And that rings with you immediately, Brigitte. He says he had planned a visit to go to the Vatican to speak to the Pope himself. And everyone at the table knows that's a really big fucking deal. You just don't plan a visit to go to the Vatican and go talk to the Pope. This is a very big deal. He says, he had planned to go to the Vatican to speak with the Pope himself. He said that there was a great evil in Gévaudan. However, it should be approached with caution. He said, and I'll never forget this, this was the night before he died. He says, "Not everything is as it seems, my son. They have brought this evil here, and I will need the aid of His Holiness to return it to hell." He was on his way out the door when the beast killed him here.
And I would like to whisper to him again in a very low voice and be like, that is exactly why I'm here. That message made it to His Holiness, and that's why I was sent here. Rest assured, nothing will happen to your manuscripts outside. I'll see to it.
Merci. And he gives this floating look over to the three people that he's terrified of right now. Like, are we okay? We good?
You can go. When we are done with you.
That is all I know. I don't know what he meant about they have brought this evil here, and I don't know what aid he was soliciting His Holiness for. I don't know.
We said they. Who is they?
He just said they, other members of the town, the leadership. I don't know. He was being so secretive. He was never this secretive, but he either saw something or he heard something or he felt something. You think I'm mad? I know, but
No, I do not. I just needed to know if you were the evil kind of mad. I think you are, for a priest. Fine. For now.
I mean, I think that is the nicest thing you have ever said about, frankly, anyone. Priest, non-priest. I think think just straight up.
Nicest thing I've ever said about anyone who wasn't Gabriel. Yes.
That wasn't Gabriel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Class of his own. Yeah.
Mhm. So, are we done here?
He looks over at Armand, almost like he wants to echo, like, "Are we done here? May I go?"
Yes.
Okay.
I think we're done here.
He is going to play that Tetris game where he's going to make sure he does not make eye contact with Cesare and dodges around him. He's going to do that next Tetris move where he like steps away from Gabriel. He wants to reach for his keys back, but God damn it, he got kicked out of this house anyways. He's not going to ask for them.
I guess right before he leaves, there's one thing I just want to ask, or just a small discussion I want to ask him.
Yeah.
You and I both know how to live by the 10 Commandments and the works of mercy. If this beast is admonishing the sinner as it could be very much the spiritual work of mercy, are we right to stop it?
He pauses. Beautiful question, by the way. He pauses and he says, Alno was the best priest I knew. He's one of the best men I've ever known.
Mm-hmm.
He said everything is not as it seems. Maybe that'll mean more to you than it did to me at the time. And he reaches into the chest and he is going to whip out a book for you. Probably like, something internal fraternal order of the Jesuits, and he's going to hand it to you.
And I take it and I guess keep it wherever I keep the other books I'm holding on to, probably in a satchel or something. And I thank him for his time.
And he looks up at the sky as the sun is getting ready to set. If you guys want to hit this last location, you might want to book it. And as the skies are turning this misty orange and gray, he actually does look over each of your 5 faces and he says, if someone here was hurting children, may they burn in hell.
They will burn here too.
Not a t-shirt.
I would wear it.
He nods and then he looks at this chest like, man, there's 5 of them here. It'd really be nice to have some help. But he's just going to start dragging it clunk, clunk, clunk down the steps.
That's really good because it turns out that the cotton horse was also the property of the Jesuit order.
Oh, God. Let's get that all in one place so we can confiscate it. Thanks.
Yep. But I understand that Armand has cut some deal with the priest to allow him to retain these records, though Cesare will push very heavily later on. We don't have to play this out to get a hold of those 3 black books so that he has some collateral in exchange for this.
Yes. Your cardinal's going to love you if you make it back home. If. It's a... my air quotations are back, Alex. You just make my life happy.
We go? I
We
do
go.
not mind the dark, but I do not think that one can go in the dark very well without breaking things. Or falling down ropes.
It's just my eyes. They go when you get older, you know.
We proceed to the mansion or home or wherever they lived of the minor noble of low standing, the former Francois de Menac.
Okay. As you guys approach the townhouse of the former noble, Francois de Menac, it doesn't necessarily surprise you, but it's not abandoned. The yard has been kind of kept up. There's new paint on the side of the wood. And there's a smell wafting out of this house. And guys, you guys have been on it since this morning. You had a trash breakfast with the Marquis, but you haven't eaten. You haven't stopped. You've been working off of rage and frustration and fury. And just the smell of this fresh bread coming out of this house is absolutely intoxicating. And as you guys approach, moving, interrupting the light on the inside of the house, you can see what looks to be maybe a female and another male. And they're just kind of like crossing paths. And as the paths cross, You can see that they exchange like a very brief kiss, and then there's humming. There's humming coming from the female. This house is occupied right now.
It might not be for long.
I will go knock on the door.
Okay. Pascal, you go and you knock on the door. And a few moments later, the door swings open. And there is a woman there who is very fat with child. You're surprised she didn't give birth on the way to opening up this door, because she is big, round, and ready to drop. And she looks to you and her eyes light up. You're looking at her like, I don't know you. Why are you looking at me like you know me? And then she gives that same look to the other four of you. And she says, good evening.
Bonjour.
You are not from here. Bonjour.
No, but we are investigating on behalf of the king, and we were wondering if we could gain access to your home.
And she says, oh, on behalf of His Majesty, are you here to seek out the wolf? Like the investigator? What was his, the Inquisitor.
Indeed, we are here to slay the beast.
And she smiles. And she does something that kind of strikes you as like, really? But she steps back and she goes, are you hungry?
Indeed. I was going to ask you if we could requisition some supplies for the king.
And she steps back, kind of putting a loving, protective hand on her belly. And she looks at the four of you all in turn. And Brigitte, it's been a long time before someone didn't look at you and immediately judge you. It's been a long time since you've had somebody look at you and just actually see you, almost in the way your brother sees you, but not in that way that your brother sees you.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. But...
You wouldn't mind, right? But she smiles and she says, please come in. We have plenty to share.
If you don't mind me saying, you seem to be the only people in this town who have plenty to share.
No, there are others, but it has been a hard 3 years. We are new. We actually we just moved in maybe a year ago. It's a lovely home.
How did you come by it?
We purchased it from the Marquis.
You know what
we
happened
had plenty
here?
to choose from.
You know what happened in this house?
I am aware. The previous owner was slayed by the beast.
We can talk over dinner. Come.
I touch her belly, like protectively. You should not give birth here, in place of death.
And she
Not
puts
in
her
this-
hand over your hand, almost lovingly. She says, would not life wash away the death?
It depends on why he died.
And she smiles. She says, please come in. And she starts her fat little wobble onto the kitchen, where her husband comes out, very surprised to see 5 new people in his damn house. And he's getting ready to be like, why are 5 new people in my damn house? But you can see the relationship dynamics. He's getting ready to say something to his wife, and the look she gives him is like, apparently we're feeding 5 people tonight. Good, have a seat. Let me go get extra chairs and get some plates and just get everyone seated.
I'm gonna go sit at the head of the table and wait to be served.
Pascal, this is why you've grown so much in the past few years.
Well, I must say it is the hospitality of France that keeps me alive.
Hospitality of France.
We call it seasoning where I'm from.
You're so Chicago.
You have to carb load before you fight the werewolf. Everybody knows this.
Haha.
At least
So-
it will be a very tasty treat for him.
Haha. So you guys are able to sit down and enjoy a really good meal. Like whoever is cooking is putting their foot in this, and the conversation is a beat. You recognize, I'm so bad with names. It just literally, God bless me, I stole these right out of that movie. The pregnant woman is Christine and her husband is Raoul. Told you I was bad with names. And they are very amiable. I know that I even hate your face right now, Rena. They're very amiable. The food is good. They keep it coming. Pascal, they do serve you. Christine goes to do it multiple times, but her husband will at least put his foot down there and make sure that he's the one serving you and not her, so she can stay off of his feet.
I'll
Just
pull
as
her
a
onto my lap
conversation.
every now and then as she walks by.
You do what?
I'll pull her onto my lap every now and then as she walks by.
I will literally slap him if he does that. Like, the first time he tries it, I will literally full hand slap him across the face.
Do narrative, because I just want to see it because it's really good. And you go to pull her down.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're reaching out for her and touching her without consent, Brigitte just kind of leans in and slaps you across the face. And if you don't let go of Christine, she will slap you again.
I'll let her go, but I will look at Brigitte and say, "What? You haven't heard of Prima Nocta?"
Oh, someone is not leaving this village.
Speaking of people that are going to burn.
Gabriel sitting next to Bridget can feel just sort of the burning rage turn up 3 or 4 notches, and Pascal's going to be very lucky to get out of this dinner alive.
Yeah, Cesare feels that this is not a good place to be, and he will probably mutter to himself, "Predictable." And then he will inquire where the outhouse is or the bathroom, and he'll use that opportunity to just do a little bit of a look around.
Okay. You are able to step out of whatever is happening here, because it sounds like this dinner might be set up in flames. And you recognize they do have an outside house out back, but they also have like a little storage shed. It looks like probably Raul built sometime within the last 6 months. It's actually in really good shape. And you can see that it does have a lock on the outside of the door.
Well, what's the point of a 50% skill if you don't flip a coin at least once, right?
Flip that coin.
Let's see.
So Pascal is assaulting the lady who is feeding you, and now you're breaking into her house. Okay, got it.
I'm going to spend the 5 luck to make that a success.
Okay. Bringing it down. It takes you a second. You know what it is these older locks get more and more frustrating to do. But it disengages, and you can look inside the shed, and it looks like Raul has his tools and some supplies and stuff on one side, but it looks like there's another portion of the shed that has been moved, like where things have been moved out of the way, and there's a blanket over it. And you recognize there are several small trunks here that are filled with paperwork, and there is a note on the top of it that says for I can't remember his name. Who's the Inquisitor that died? DeLong. For DeLong. Looks like it's written in a woman's handwriting, which is impressive during these days. And it doesn't take you long to start going through the trunk and looking at the paperwork. And you are very familiar with paperwork like this, because this is paperwork that Marzin files all the time. Going through this, what you're able to tell is these are all documents that belong to Francois de Monac. And it looks like for the last 20 years that he lived in Gévaudan, that he was a criminal landlord, extorting tenants aggressively. So he was evicting tenants out of their home. He was double charging them rent. He was just basically undercutting the populace without any interruption whatsoever. You do notice that the last tenant that he attempted to extort from before dying by the beast was a man by the name of Victor, the town blacksmith.
I will take... It sounds like there's quite a bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then I will just take some select paperwork that I can carry inconspicuously, enough that I can show my companions to, make clear and reinforce what I discovered. And then I shall replace the lock and relieve myself.
Okay. Back inside of the house, Pascal, you've been slapped not once, but twice. And you're back to eating your food, and the conversation is very amiable. Like I said, Christine and Raul are pretty much open books. They offer you to stay in their attic or their basement upstairs if you need housing in town. They wouldn't think of charging somebody that was here on the king's business, or kind of flattered that you guys are here. They will confirm that Raphael DeLong came here, and that he was interested in some of the older paperwork that belonged to the previous tenant. They hadn't thrown any of that stuff away. It was just, tucked away in the basement. So they have it all prepared for him, but he died before they could come back. He could come back and claim it. And while this is happening, Pascal, can I get a constitution check from you, please?
Oh boy.
Everything's fine.
Oh,
You got this.
This is my good skill.
Oh,
This is
boy.
your good skill?
Let's see it.
54 out of 80.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Oh, this is your good skill. Bravely done.
80.
Okay.
Wow.
I have
80
only
is nice,
survived
yeah.
because I'm an idiot.
I've only survived because I've got high hit points. It's in the module. You're not quite sure what's going on, Pascal, but as you are enjoying the meal and you're looking over the faces of your companions, your stomach keeps churning. Where you have one of those first like really filthy belches that like kind of radiates and reeks all over the table that everyone can smell. And then your stomach continues churning and you're looking around like, we've been poisoned, but no one else seems to be having these effects other than you. Go ahead.
Wouldn't be the first time I've been poisoned. I will stand up from the table and I will excuse myself to the outhouse.
Brigitte is flicking tarot cards between her fingers and just smiling.
So,
Did you do this? Did you do this, Brigitte? I just whisper. Was it
Do
you?
what? Do what? I just see idiots, people doing idiot things because they are idiots.
Fair.
I don't think Armand knows what to say to that.
I guess I'd like to know what Raoul does.
He says that he's going to be a farmer. He is a farmer. Sorry, he's a farmer.
Okay.
And he can't wait to hear your stories. I mean, it's one of those things like even as the night gets late, he's begging you for more stories about Africa or what you do or what's it like to be a hunter. And
Oh, well, it's wonderful. It's exhilarating, really, especially being out in the dark, waiting and watching and waiting to pounce. It's even better when you have someone along with you that knows exactly what you're thinking before you think it.
how do you contain your fear? Do you feel fear?
Oh, certainly. I think it would be foolish for any man to say that he doesn't feel fear. You just bottle it up and wait.
You must
And then-
contain it like an animal. That is all
Yeah.
it is. It is primal, and you capture it and you keep it leashed. And then you let it out when you need it.
Let it out later.
Haha, but 50 Shades of Gévaudan.
Meanwhile, I am uncontaining my bowels.
Yes, you're
Yes.
uncontaining your bowels, and let me tell you, honey,
Ye old
your bowels
diarrhea.
are very upset about something. They
So
are
two-
upset.
Two
I
thoughts.
gotta-
One, I'm really glad we did it in this order. And two, I'm beginning to wonder whether Pascal's stomach is sort of like the equivalent of Brigitte's tarot cards.
Tarot
Just
cards.
a very different version of that power.
I'll just read the Ophal in the hole after we're all done.
Ooh.
And that is your evening at the home of Christine and Raoul.
Did Christine used to be an opera singer before she and Raoul got married and moved out here?
Listen, either that or I forget what movie I pulled it directly from. Man in the Iron Mask.
Opera. Phantom of the Opera.
And Phantom of
Yep.
the Opera.
Mhm.
Ba-da-da-da. Yeah, listen, I'm bad with names.
If we're not planning to move tonight, which I assume we wouldn't because it's dangerous to hunt creatures like that at night, Brigitte is definitely going to take up the offer to stay there because she is not going back in the Marquis's house.
Yeah.
And she's going to spend part of her evening doing some positive spell work to
Okay.
protect the baby.
Oh,
mother and the baby.
That's adorable.
Because that's something she
That
would have learned from Maman.
Yeah.
As a witch. So
Okay.
So with all the bad things happening to children in this village, she wants to protect this one.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Oh, that is brilliant. Okay. Anything else rapid fire that you guys want to do tonight? And if not, what are we getting into tomorrow?
I mean, I think I would just share the information that I had learned, and that it doesn't seem like there's anything untoward with our dear Christine and Raoul, but that the former inhabitant was
the last,
quite problematic.
The last eviction, it is Chloe's father, no?
Indeed.
It is.
So we should speak to him in the morning.
Concur.
Armand, at some point at night, whether it's right before bed, either wants to like look out a window or quickly open the front door and shut it just to see if he sees a dog again.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, as you're looking through windows, you're opening the doors and shutting them. It seems like you're being mostly unmolested tonight. You don't have any visitors. And Gabrielle has been very intentional about looking for people who are following behind you guys, watching you guys out. Looks like you're safe.
Awesome.
Breakfast is fantastic. Pascal, are you eating breakfast?
I'm going a little easy. I'll have some toast.
Yeah. Toast and coffee, keep it bland.
Mm-hmm. I will find somewhere
breakfast?
nice and luxurious to sleep naked.
Okay. What was the line you used? Air shower, rain shower?
Sky shower.
Oh,
Air
God.
shower.
Sky shower.
Air shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakfast is absolutely delicious. Christine packs you all up plenty of food to go. Part of her dried rations, a bottle of wine, cheese. Raul is very intentional about making sure Gabriel has a little bit of extra of everything. He kind of feels like he had a bro moment with him last night. So they set you guys up with plenty of food. And as you're leaving, both of them are waving goodbye and saying basically you're welcome to stay here, anytime. However long your time leaves you in Gévaudan, you are welcome here.
So I don't want to role play this out necessarily because it's not terribly important, but I feel like Cesare might have gone back to see his acquaintances the night before, probed whether or not they knew anything about the children and the orphanage. I just want to make sure that they weren't part of it. And assuming they weren't, assuming at least Cesare is convinced of that, I think he would set them up with the horse and cart from the Jesuit, which is the property of the king, just in case. And he will also, perhaps he will have, if Nubish is okay with it, will have sort of pilfered those books and put them in the possession of Cosette, so that if there is anything that happens to us on the following day, or because of the beast, she will have that to provide the cardinal, and at least will be taken care of.
That's fine with me.
Bravely done. Are you going to enjoy any services while you're there?
No.
I'm just curious. Okay. Cosette, none of them are aware of anything happening with any children. You know the vibe of that location intimately. They wouldn't have played that. Those women don't play. That would have been something. They would have burned that shit down themselves if they knew. They do find it very curious that the Marquis doesn't know, though. That's an ongoing thing. It's like, you sure the Marquis doesn't know? That sounds like something the Marquis would know. The Marquis has been hanging around those 4 locations quite a bit before and after the Inquisitors, arrival. So they're not involved, but they are very curious about how the Marquis missed that. Just as a quick role-playing flair for you over here, Brigitte, as we walk into our last 40 minutes of the game, you do notice as the door is shutting, you can hear a series of wind chimes, kind of like in the echoes, the recesses of your soul. That's very uplifting and very upbeat. You hear Christine call out, "He's kicking!" And the door shuts as Raul is all excited about putting his hands on her belly.
Oh,
That will be strong, baby.
Be a strong baby.
we need to make sure they get out before we burn this place down.
Cherry picking survivors.
I also think perhaps after we speak to this villager, maybe we speak to the Marquis, because the feelings I had down in the orphanage are the same feelings I had at his house.
You think something happened there?
Yes. I had to think about its process before telling all of you. But I think there is something very wrong there. But
Well,
perhaps
good
we
recall,
talk
Rena.
Perhaps we talk to this person we think might be a werewolf first. And then maybe we go see if I need to slowly remove the Marquis' entrails one by one in front of his living eyes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he did seem to lack any fortitude, which I assumed was from inexperience in youth, but maybe he has a guilty conscience.
Oh.
I didn't even think of that.
Victor, the blacksmith's residence and forge are located about a half mile outside of the center of town, nestled on the edge of Gévaudan's western border. It is completely isolated. Victor You vaguely know this, Cesare, and your women at the brothel could tell you this. He's always been an intensely private figure. As you guys approach, you can see in the center of his property stands a forge. Everything is well manicured, meticulously upkept and polished. And you can see that the anvil sitting there in the forge has a sign of heavy wear. There's all manner of tools, swords, and other weaponry hanging open on display. To the right is Victor's single-story wattle and daub home. Unlike typical thatch roof, his is actually tile. He's done a really good job of maintaining his property despite the devastation that has hit the area. Gabriel, the second you step foot on this area, it's almost like being on the opposite side of every hunt that you've ever been on. You've always been the hunter. The second you step on this land, you immediately recognize there's just a sensation that hits you that you are the hunted.
Bridget, I would like to look around the area before we go to the forge to see if there's any big beast tracks coming to or from this area.
Yeah, go ahead, roll me a track.
You go off by yourself, Pascal?
I assume so.
You know, stepping off the beaten path, looking around.
Did you bring your bare hands?
I did bring my bare hands.
Haha, ba-dun-dun-dun. Pascal, as you step away and you're looking around with that success, you don't see any beast tracks. You do see two very common pair of repeating tracks, those that belong to like maybe a 10, 11, 12-year-old girl. But let me tell you, honey, you don't see beast tracks, but with that success, whoever the fuck Victor is a big guy. He leaves not indentations in the ground. He leaves fucking impressions when he walks. Whatever he is, whomever he is, this is a very, very big guy.
We are dealing with a corn-fed blacksmith here, everyone.
Free-range organic blacksmith.
That's right.
Free-range organic.
So when we step on the property keeper, I'm going to mention to my sister in sort of our own special language that we need to tread very carefully here.
You should not let the idiot speak.
We should be mindful that we do not become hunted. Whatever is here is real.
Yes. We must be careful.
And yeah,
But
because we have
it
this
feels good,
wonderful twin speak language, I'm going to say to her, the man in black likely cannot be trusted.
Oh, shit.
Do
He
not
has been
trust
out.
those who go out all in black.
He has been out.
Trying to hide something.
He's been out both nights and knows every location we go to.
Oh, dang.
I have
not
also
privy to
been
this at all.
incredibly helpful, okay? I have been incredibly helpful.
You remember why Maman said the cardinal's men, they wear black? Because it so easily hides the blood.
And at that point, the front door swings open. Well, first, a curtain swings open and a little half of a kid's face pops out. And then the front door swings open and you see Chloe. And like most 12-year-old girls who are lonely and isolated and recognize somebody that was kind to them, she looks over the four of you, as Pascal, you're joining back from the group from like, I didn't see beast tracks, but some beastly lives here.
There's a big-ass dude that lives in this house.
It's a big-ass dude somewhere. She runs out and she runs full speed directly at you, Brigitte. And she runs and it's like maybe 30 feet away. She's not quite sure whether she should keep running and go in for the hug. So she does the awkward thing where she slides to a stop and jumps. Oh, sorry, muted. Oh, Rena, you're muted. Sorry.
You're muted.
You're good. Oh, no, you're still muted.
Thought I unmuted it. Goddamn.
You're safe,
Okay.
baby.
So I'm just going to do the sort of slight crouch down and gesture just to indicate safe.
Yeah.
Because I like this kid.
Yeah. She's going to go in for the hug. She's going to read that, interpret that as an invitation. And she like poof, hugs you and her chin is, sitting over your shoulder and she looks up to you, Gabrielle, and she smiles And it's one of those things that when she smiles, the sun rises with this smile. And then she looks over to you, Armand, and like almost like she's upset she didn't see you first because she got so excited about Bridget. You see the hand come up, and there's a wave. She looks over you, Pascal, and keeps looking, because if I remember, you didn't give her candy consideration, not a damn thing. She just looks over you respectfully.
I kept the boys away from her. Thank you very
You did.
much.
Yeah, there was that. There was that.
Child, is your father around?
Oh, okay. So you asked that question as that head looks over to you, Cesare, and it's one of those moments your heart skips a beat, because just in this lighting with the way that she looks, God damn it, if you're not looking at a mirror reflection of yourself as a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I imagine like the camera shows Cesare's face and then focuses in on the house instead if the blacksmith comes out.
Yes! It goes.
Do we pick up on the resemblance at all now that they're so close together?
Oh, go ahead and give me idea checks across the board. Alex, that's just an int check for anybody who wants it.
Okay. I don't.
Oh, extreme!
Holy shit.
Oh my god, somebody got a 3.
Pascal knows a bastard child when he sees a bastard child.
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
This is
Guys
a
are
group
like-
of this is a group with very select level of skills.
It's genetics. Yes.
It's genetics. It's genetic. Yeah, I see these 3s, these 10s, and these 13s. So yeah, everyone but Brigitte sees it. Pascal, you asked a question. You said, is your father home, child, right? Brigitte, you can feel her tense. Like you can just literally feel almost like somebody just pulled a drawstring out of the center of her back. You can feel her tense as if she almost forgot that what she's doing is wrong. That's the intention that you see. And she stops and she looks over to you, Pascal, and she goes, he's home. And I think you should go.
I think you should go get him.
Don't make me stab you.
We're here to have a conversation with this man, yes? We?
Yes, but not to order his daughter around. Or
You are not the lord of this place.
is it his daughter?
Yeah,
We
Cesare.
know she is adopted.
Cesare, sorry.
Armand,
You have been here before, haven't you?
I didn't say shit. I said nothing.
While
While this
Cesare
conversation,
says nothing.
neither does Bridget. We're quiet on it. Armand, as they are this conversation, these passive aggressive jokes are going back and forth. You, without even a roll, I'm just going to give you. You can see Chloe mouthing something at you, and it takes her second go before you get it. But she's saying you need to run.
I feel like I've bonded with I at least have that connection with Chloe enough to kind of like see that she's being really sincere. And I just again very quietly whispered, everyone in the party can hear me, but maybe it won't be evident to someone looking on to read my lips, but to be like, okay, but can we come back? When can we come back?
And she looks to you and she's getting ready to shake her head no. And it's not that the ground moves, because he's not that big. But the hunters recognize when something has, they know what it feels like to dial in on their prey, and they know that they're dialed in right now. There is a sense of panic that runs through you, Pascal. It's almost a supernatural level of panic. As like your chest starts to flutter and you're just like, okay, something's wrong. Cesare, there's a chill that goes directly down your spine, and it feels cold. It feels colder than the scores of corpses that you have left all over the Cardinals' kingdom. And Armand, you are pulled to your feet as you look at this monstrous figure of a man emerging from the forge, and it's almost like looking at him, it's like his form doesn't even fit inside of this building. He has to crouch and hunch to dip himself under the archway of the door, and you're looking at a neck that is the size of a tree trunk with veins that are already turning colors and moving up his throat. You can recognize the veins in his eyes begin to bulge. And he's grinding his teeth, which you can already hear right now, and why it sounds like he's crunching on peanuts. You don't understand how that sensation is possible, but he starts moving towards you slowly, intentionally, and menacingly.
If
And
we
at this
run,
point, Chloe starts pulling back from Brigitte.
if we run, we only look as though we had more sinister intentions.
Brigitte is just standing up, like after Chloe moves away, and she's just putting her hands on her hips, and she's looking up at the guy. It's like, you protect the children, yes?
And he looks to you, and Brigitte, he looks through you. The look he's giving you, even though he's acknowledging you, it's like you don't exist to him. You're not even on a plane of existence that he is aware of. And he reaches out this big meaty hand towards Chloe, and Chloe backpedals. She mouths the words to you, Gabriel, "I'm sorry." And she reaches her hand back to her papa, and he tugs her enough to pull her off of her feet. And he just points to the door. And she nods reverently and starts backpedaling, and he takes another step towards you. And Brigitte, you were the one who addressed him, so he's coming at you first.
You help them?
You are not welcome here.
Why?
Leave.
Is she safe?
Are you? And there's no way this man has hackles, but you can just, something is rising inside of him. Gabriel, this Gabriel and Cesar, you guys know this. He's about 2 seconds from attacking. He's not playing games. He's not here to talk. That's not what he does.
Yeah, I put my hand like on my sister's left shoulder and sort of just give her just the subtlest of pull and say la bête. I say the beast. Like, and I try to indicate that she needs to step back.
Okay.
And I step in front of the twins, and I don't know if my little like talisman is even super visible, but I'm just gonna hold it and just very apologetically say, like, we didn't mean to intrude. We just wanted to know she was okay. Some boys were being mean to her when we came into town, and I said that I wanted to make sure her papa was aware. She's a very sweet girl. We just want to make sure she's safe.
And you're talking, and just almost mechanically his attention is leaving off. It's all like almost like who is talking to him is who he's going to punch in the face, because his attention moves off of Brigitte and he's coming at you. But you have that talisman in your hand. You have it in your clutches, and he looks at it, and he looks at you, and he pauses for the final time. Leave.
Okay. And then I turn to my companions and I guess give them the look that he's really scary.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue to slowly back off, because any good hunter knows when there's a more powerful predator around. I'm not letting my eyes leave him, but I'm not standing there.
Okay.
Because he looks like he's ready to eat somebody.
And I'm backing up as well.
Pascal has already heroically retreated to the back of the group.
It is a heroic retreat.
Retreating? What is that?
Strategic retreat.
I feel like Cesare is uncharacteristically finding himself at the front of the group for a change, which is not really
How did I get up here?
Yeah, because he feels a little bit of warring passions here. On the one hand, a desire to claim responsibility, and on the other, the very natural inclination that if the two seasoned hunters are moving away from this man, that Cesare by himself certainly is not going to be any match for it. And I think, as has been so many times in the past in Cesare's life, he will realize that he just needs to take his time, and he will bide it, and he will back away as well.
Okay. That sounds like a total party heroic retreat.
That's a nope. Nope.
Yeah. Nope.
Well,
Nope.
as far as Brigitte is concerned, he's protecting the kids. He killed the ones who were hurting them, so he's not a danger as far as I can tell. His victims were all bad people. So
I don't know.
We
He
should be
pulled
fine.
Chloe really hard.
That was concerning a little bit. Just that she was so happy to see you, Bridget. And
But
that
you
didn't
know,
seem to matter.
Some pray it's better to kidnap the little girl in the night, lock the doors, and set the
No.
building on fire, instead of fighting it.
Options.
They
So
come
what
out
are
at
you
night,
guys?
the wolf.
I'm
Gonna
gonna
do
I'm
here?
gonna redirect our focus to the Marquis,
Oh yes.
who absolutely needs to pay a price for what has gone on in his domain.
Okay.
Let me talk to him first. We must know how complicit he is. No?
Okay.
I agree.
So we are completely, as Victor is mounted there. You're all backing away. We're all leaving.
yes.
Oh yeah.
We're leaving Chloe
Oh,
on the
yeah.
porch, giving you sad waves goodbye,
Mhm.
and
For
Victor
now.
standing there
moment,
for
for the
now.
moment.
now.
For
And
the
making
moment.
sure-
We'll be back.
Okay.
Now we know what we're up against if we have to later.
Listen, we saw Chloe like away from this place before, so it's possible that we would have another opportunity to speak with her in that capacity. So
Okay.
for now,
We'll kidnap her when she's out playing with her friends. Got it.
Damn right.
Okay.
you know, if I am her parent, I like to think of it not as kidnapping.
Oh no, you are.
know.
We know you are. It's okay.
Yeah, he is.
Scheduled
Oh, totally.
visitation.
Yeah.
Scheduled
That's
visitation.
right.
There we go. There we
Just
go.
don't ask
Nodding
about the whole
down.
11 years of support you owe.
That's
right. Yeah, Victor's ready to collect. So in the interest of time, I am just going to very quickly narrate the confrontation with the Marquis now. Rules as written in the module. The Marquis will deny any knowledge of the illicit orphanage operation unless confronted with some form of proof or evidence or intimidated. I'm pretty sure y'all
I'm
got
going
that
to
covered.
tie him up and tear his clothes off, and then I'm going to threaten him in his most vulnerable areas.
I was gonna just suggest
my
using the
very-
books.
No,
Like,
that's not fun. That's not fun for me. Like I am literally going to get Gabriel to help me tie him up, and I'm going to tear all his clothes off, and then I'm going to threaten to chop his dick off if he
Okay.
doesn't cop to it.
You know what, Armand? Maybe we should go look for additional evidence out of this room.
you know,
This way.
yeah, I'm good with that.
So
Yeah,
torture
so
twins activate.
Yeah, so Zaga is going to go gather more information from his acquaintances.
Oh, come
and
on
that
now,
way-
Cesare. This wouldn't be out of school for you. Let's be honest.
No,
Well,
he
no,
did
it
it
wouldn't.
last week.
It wouldn't.
Right.
Armand, how about we go check out his study? Like, just go look through his
Yes.
stuff.
Books.
that way.
Manuscripts.
All right. Encouraged by Gabrielle, Cesare will hang back in sort of a doorway and watch the twins do their thing.
Okay. Torture twins activate. Again, I'm just reading you the text because we need to narrate this down.
Yeah.
If confronted with such information, or apparently tortured by the twins, the Marquis will break down pathetically. Through tears, he will confess that he discovered the illicit operation during his investigation of the orphanage fire. He did not know about the activity before. He will confess to destroying evidence from there and from the dead investigator Raphael DeLong's apartment. He will truthfully admit that he knew nothing of the operation. He will beg forgiveness for his actions, especially if you have a blade to his dick. Plead with the investigators not to expose him, and insist that he is and has always been a good man.
I am not going to expose you, but you are going to pay for it. And I'm going to make him a eunuch.
Oh, the first
Because knowing
cut.
about it and doing nothing
Yeah.
is complicity.
For fucking sure it
It's
is.
a sin of omission.
The first cut, the first incision, there is that one little piece of information that he was holding out, and his screams ring through the entire house as you guys hear the sound of ripping flesh. And the scream rings out, it's her, it's the girl is the beast. And that's before he
had-
bleeds out.
I had the suspicion.
And we thought
Thank
he was
you.
skittish before that.
Mm.
Oh no, he's gonna bleed out on us.
Oh, no, I'll bandage it up. I want him to live with the
We'll keep
knowledge of
him
what
alive.
he's done.
Oh no,
He's
no.
just a eunuch now.
Okay.
If I
Yes,
might,
good.
I think it would be best to cauterize the wound, don't you think?
Oh,
Oh,
what a wonderful idea, Gabriel. You're always so much smarter than I am.
Armand,
Torture
what
twins
does this
activate.
say in this book? I don't.
Words.
This
You
little
know,
sizzle pop. Make it better, make
at,
it better, make it better.
Does anyone
At a
want hot
certain-
dogs?
Oh,
Breakfast is served. At a certain point,
I did say I wanted protein with my next meal.
that's right, exactly.
You did?
I think at a certain point in the torture, I'll try and take the opportunity to speak with the Marquis just to get him to sign a confession. By
Mhm.
that point, it's going to say whatever I needed to say,
And it
including
will.
admission for the murders. Um,
And it
and
does.
and I'll assure him that this will be kept in a safe place. By which I
Mhm.
mean the Cardinals care.
Okay. So you guys went a much different direction than a lot of tables have, which I absolutely love because you guys are fucking fantastic. With 15 minutes left, typically what happens, there is a combat with Victor. Usually somebody's like, fuck it, I'm going for it. And there's a big combat. You have all of the information of the scenario at this point. I wish we could play longer, but alas, we have this session. You also know, allegedly, who and what the beast is. What are your intentions round table here? What do you guys plan to do, if anything?
Oh, I have some pretty clear intentions. One,
Okay.
I want to make sure from Armand's perspective and also Cesare's that neither one of them are ever going to speak about this girl again to anyone. And should they enter it into any sort of communication, whether it be into a lyric of a song or whether it be to your cardinal, I promise you, I will leave Africa to find you.
Okay.
This girl, everything she's been through, she doesn't deserve to have any king's horses or king's men come back here looking for her. She deserves to be left alone.
And Brigitte will follow that up with, we do what we have to do to survive, and that is all she is doing. I know what it is like.
I mean, she did kill like 200 people after the fact, though. Just,
Oh,
Whoops.
just
that's
gotta eat.
fine. I'm fine with that.
whoops. People die. Okay.
Hmm.
Collateral damage. Got it.
She's doing what she has to do, and she is a child. And if I had not been found as a child, I might have done some terrible things too. I still might, looking over at Pascal.
In a moment
That's-
of Pascal clarity, he will look
Ho,
over
ho!
at Brigitte and Gabrielle and say, well, the king is going to be looking for a body of some sort, so I think this girl might be best suited with you in Africa, and we kill her adoptive father.
He is protecting her.
I don't feel good about harming her or what is clearly her guardian.
He is not
I'm-
protecting her enough not to attract attention.
I would be
people
happy
with,
to I
people
would
with
be happy to
authority.
bring the girl with to Africa should she make that decision.
If we see her on our way out of town, I will ask, and if she consents, we will take her with us. But we are not going to harm this person she cares for, and we are not going to kidnap a child.
No, you have a relationship with her. If you don't want to do the man's body, I will go and find a big wolf to pin this on in the woods.
I am sure you are more than capable of coming back alive with that.
You could taxidermy up something sexy and take to the king. That's definitely an option. Cesare, there's a lot of conversation. Are you contributing?
Listen, Gabrielle and Brigitte are saying their menacing things. Cesare will give them a look that communicates that he does not need their threats. And he will simply then say that he is done with this place. And, when given the opportunity, listen, yeah, it would have been great to stop the beast. That was my official mission as written, but I think the cardinal is going to be quite satisfied to have a signed confession by the Marquis, essentially revealing that it is the Marquis who is the beast of Gévaudan. And what the cardinal wishes to do with that information, including sending me back here to do what I usually do, that is just fine. I think he will be satisfied with this information. He was more interested in getting the temperature of this place than anything. But I will return to my acquaintances and give them the opportunity, at least, to leave town as well, because I suspect that with the information brought back to the cardinal, there will be some wherewithal, so that if they wish to start a life away from this place, which is bathed in blood, they should have the opportunity to leave as I am leaving.
Wow.
Yeah. We're definitely getting back on the boat to go to Africa, but if we pass Chloe on the way out of town, I will talk to her and ask her if she wants to come and learn with me, essentially, if I see her.
Armand, do you want to chime in here before I start tying wish list threads together?
Armand wouldn't dream of hurting Chloe. Chloe has been, probably like the most charming villager he's met here, save for Christine, probably. All he wants is to do what's best for her. And if that means lying to anyone in the Catholic Church, he's fine with that. Lying to the king is easy. He does that on the daily with his playwriting.
Daily, yeah.
But I think Armand feels a bit emboldened by what Cesare is also saying as well. That there's no need to jeopardize the girl in this process. And especially if Pascal just takes out a wolf, we can easily pin it on that.
Okay. So let me try to pull strands with 9 minutes ago, and then I'm going to give you guys sunsets.
Sorry, you guys, you realize Pascal is going to be the big goddamn hero here, right?
He is. He
Obviously.
literally is.
Calling it.
And you
it.
guys
hired
avoided the PvP. Congrats. Usually
Wow.
during that big combat scene. Actually, I'll save that for the talk back. Pascal, if you mock up a wolf and you demonize it and bastardize it enough with your gamekeeper, this is not going to be a problem for you. You can skirt that past His Majesty in Versailles, and you will be not only the hero of Lyon, you might be the hero of Gévaudan, because you're bringing back a beast. But where I need to figure out first is you can't be the hero of Gévaudan if the beast is still killing in Gévaudan, regardless of what you take back to him. If he gets a report the next week, is like, hey, it's still killing, you're about to have a problem. So I'm going to drop down to the bottom half of my screen here. Armand, Brigitte, and Gabrielle. It will not take long the next morning, the next day, for Chloe to seek you guys out. That's something, she's going to be embarrassed about what happened. She's going to make sure you guys are okay. That is something that is going to happen. My question is, you're not kidnapping her. I heard that, right? There's no kidnapping. This is consensual. Do you want to go to Africa? And I'll teach you, Brigitte, I'll teach you what I do. Gabrielle, I'll teach you how to hunt. I can focus that energy somewhere else. And Armand, I will gloss it all over. That's basically what's happening.
Pretty much.
This would probably be between Armand and Gabrielle, because those probably be the two people that Victor would most respond to. Would you two attempt to broker an arrangement for that? If he said, hey, I want to go with her, or yes, you can take her, like, would you two be willing to broker that negotiation? Because he's going to be hard pressed to let his little girl go, because he knows what she's been through.
I feel like that's going to be more up to Gabriel, because I just have to smooth things over. And at most, my parting gift to Chloe and, her guardian, should she choose to take him along, would just be the extra stationery I have to just be like, please write me. Wherever you are, please write me.
And I'm going to try to boost whatever ends up happening there by showing Chloe some of the little magic things that I can do with insects and flowers, but also the cards, and just talking about what you could, the power that you have that others tried to take from you, how you can use that, and how you can hunt and be powerful in ways that will keep you away from those who would try to hurt you. And I'm going to tell her I know who she is.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think for my part with Victor, I would just help him understand that a life living with two royal hunters will afford her a pleasurable walk through Versailles. Occasionally, it will allow her to go to Africa and live a life that she would never lead in this village, with two people who are committed to her freedom as a person. And that is a very rare thing, nor are we compelled by anything more than the spirit of the hunt, which already lives in her now.
Ooh, deliciously articulated. Okay. Here are quick strands. I'm going to throw strands, and then I'm going to start with Heinrich, and we're going to work our way to Alex. and then I'm gonna do Noobish Indian girl, and then I'm gonna end with the twins because I think I can tie this together pretty well. Alex, with the help of not Alex, let me rephrase that. Pascal, with the help of Armand, you become the Beast of Gévaudan because at some point, when you bring that bastardized, demonized wolf back, the killings
I grabbed
in
3
Gévaudan
wolves
just
and I
stop.
sewed their heads together, and I say I walked into Tartarus and found a Cerberus.
Pascal,
Yes!
we need to get the story straight this time. I have to write this down. We cannot deviate from the script.
Armand,
Between
tell
your
them that I
physical
met
evidence.
tell them that I met Virgil in the woods and I descended into the underworld where I found Cerberus and dragged him back to hell.
So Pascal, you will become the Beast of Gévaudan again, complemented with the physical evidence that you have, complemented also with a riveting tale of heroics and championship and blah, blah, blah that Armand is able to spin. Twins, you're able to convince Victor that he can't control her and that he is not going to be the best in guardianship for her. Let her run to Africa and be somebody else's problem. Let her be our problem. We'll come to visit, every few years when we come back stateside, whatever. So you guys, she is happy to travel with you guys. She consents to that. Victor is also okay with that one. So with all of the lies and the conspiracy and the no PvP backstabbing, congrats that you guys managed. I know it's so funny. Lucille is finally getting paid. You ought to get that girl a ring is what you ought to do.
She is not the kind of woman you marry. She's too stable.
She's too stable. Starting with Cesare, give us your sunset scene. Oh, the women are willing to go with you. The one thing about being poor in a horrible situation is you can't afford to relocate. If you're going to provide them the means, you're more than happy to do that. Brigitte and Gabriel, just the one cute little parting, cute thing narrative wise I'll give you before I go back to Heinrich here is, as you guys are leaving town with Chloe, you can hear the fresh bouncing baby cries of a newborn baby within Christine and Raoul's house. Cesare, your daughter's on her way to Africa with the incest tarot twins. But how are you doing? What's your sunset?
She was never truly my daughter.
Oh. Cold-blooded. Give me your sunset. What does life look like for you?
I don't know that it is cold-blooded. He wasn't a father for 11, 12 years. He wasn't going to start being a father now. He will take back the information to the Cardinal. He will continue doing the Cardinal's bidding. He will probably at some point in his life run into a very terrible, gruesome, indignant death. But until then, the Cardinal will probably, with this information, be able to put himself in an advantageous position once the revolution does come.
Because it's coming in 12 years.
It's coming in 12 years and be able to target those foes he needs. And I'll be right there. And then when I'm not out on mission, I shall return to the home that I have had commissioned for those who escaped Gévaudan and Gévaudan along with me. And I think we will have a very prosaic relationship.
I love it. Pascal, what's your sunset?
Pascal receives a big bag of money and goes back to his mansion. And, gives it all to Lucille to take care of things that matters, to repair the roof so she can finally repair the roof. And eventually Pascal eats himself to death.
Wow. Okay, I have to ask. Why? Is it a sanity thing? Is it just a gluttony thing? Is it just because
he's like, what? I've got my fame. I've got my fortune. The peasants are starving, but I don't have to. So he becomes part of the problem instead of part of the solution.
He does, because you're the beast slayer of Gévaudan at this point. Like the wealth doesn't stop, which means the food doesn't stop.
Yep, he will ask Armand to write a book about his exploits. And invite Armand to stay for a couple of weeks at the Mansion de Favre.
Yeah, the Mansion de Favre. It's a heart-aching, heartbreaking, heart-simmering scene that you never see when Lucille comes upon you in the middle of the night, passed out in a plate of your own vomit and gore.
He died as he lived. That's what he would have wanted.
He died as he lived. Armand? What's your sunset?
I feel like I already have this epic write-up of, this story that we all fabricated together about the beast slayer. Whoa, my goodness. The lights are on a timer. So,
things are getting intense.
So I feel like Armand has an epic write-up about the story that we all created about the beast slayer of Gévaudan. And probably he writes that up into a play. Part of his job is to try to lighten the spirits of a lot of people during this tumultuous political times. I would hope that during my stay at the Favre mansion, I meet Lucille, and it's like, oh, that's my next protagonist. That's my next.
Yes.
So probably when I publish, the story of Pascal Favre, there's a significant amount of just about Lucille. When it comes to the twins and Chloe, I give Chloe stationery and the twins, and I say, whenever you're in town, please come see one of my shows, and please write. Let me know how it's going in Africa. And that's probably my sunset.
I will bring you a little monkey. I will bring you a little monkey. Every playwright needs something eccentric. You can have a little monkey.
A monkey.
Sliding in.
A little one or a big one?
A little pocket monkey. Just sliding in very briefly before I let the twins close out the game, and then we do our drawing. Feel like it fits, so I'm gonna spaghetti at the wall and see what happens. Armand, you had a job to do.
I did.
You had a very specific job to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you chose not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You chose to let that girl live, and your story is phenomenal, and the evidence from Pascal is, completely compelling. But when the beast slayings pick up again in Africa and word gets through the religious pipeline, at some point, Cesare, you are going to be sent on a new mission to Versailles to eradicate an unfaithful servant of the Jesuit order. And I just like the idea of the camera, panning out as you are getting this mission from Martin with basically a death order for Armand. Kicking over to the twins. Close out the game.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Brigitte.
So Brigitte definitely just kind of takes Chloe under her wing, so to speak. First off, she teaches her, you are wearing far too many clothes for Africa. You cannot wear the silly European clothes. You will die. So starts teaching her to wear more like jungle appropriate clothes and so on, but also starts teaching her magic. The way she was taught by Maman, and the secrets of the tarot. And she knows it'll never be as strong as like the bond she has with Gabriel, but she is determined to teach this girl everything she needs to know to protect herself and to be a good hunting companion for the two of them as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I think for my part, I probably don't really teach her very much when it comes to modern weaponry. I keep things really basic for her, and all I teach her really is how to use an axe.
Oh, okay.
Because I like the idea of it being something primal that she can utilize with her hands, and she's used to that sort of up close and personal touch. And I think, much like my sister, I would work to find harmony between the three of us, and begin pack hunting. Right. So I see Chloe as not as our child, but more of our adopted child.
Yeah.
Which is much safer than perhaps any biological child we might have. So not that wasn't done in that era, but
just saying. Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah, that's how I see it. And and then seeing what she could teach us, because she does things differently than we do too. And hunters should always be aware of something new.
And
something new.
When we pack hunt animals who walk on two legs, we'd always look for very, very specific targets.
Very specific targets. Mike, Gabriel, you said something I thought was very clever, and I'll close out on this, that even hunters learn something new. It doesn't take but her first full moon while you guys are in Africa and you're posted up in whatever your housing situation is, and you hear her, and then you see her speaking to just a shadow that's sitting in the corner of a wall, and she's saying something to it quietly. You don't quite hear what she says, but the shadow speaks back and says, "It's time to pay what is owed." And that's when she'll turn to you with this heartbroken but more or less accepting look on her face, and she'll say, "I'll have to go out tonight. Are you coming with me?" And we're going to close game there. So,
Yay!
Woo!
yay!
We got a magic werewolf, guys.
Woo! Oh, we only went 5 minutes older. Guys, friends of the symphony, this is where our show ends for tonight. Thank you so much for everyone who joined in or is currently watching the replay. Prayerfully, we have that. You guys are indeed the best part of waking up. We appreciate you. Alex, can you please do the drawing for us really fast?
I sure can. Here we go.
Love your face.
This is for the Bayt al Azif copy.
Woohoo!
Issue 2.
Spatial Voids has one. So please
Aha!
join us on Discord, and Bridget will get you your prize.
I love
And
it.
For the copy of Saturday the 14th. Keeper Gladius has one.
Hey, Keeper!
Yay!
Keeper, send me a message so I can get your email for a drive-through so I can send you that. I hope you will enjoy the scenario.
Wow,
Thank you
I'm
for
so
watching.
excited to meet you. Okay, sorry. Let me go back to my outro copy. My bad. All right, guys. The cast and crew are going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come back for our post-symphony gala. Again, to get this access to this content, you do need to back us, which you can do so at patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. We're going to be debuting our pets, talking about decision-making, backstory secrets, all that fun stuff. Fun secret. I can't wait till you guys find the real backstory of Pascal. If you'd like to hang out with us on Discord, there's a link on the website. We'll also include it in the chat. And then before we empty the auditorium, I do want to say I hope you guys had a lovely Gen Con 2022. We will be off next week because half of us are going to be at Necronomicon in Providence. So I know that Heinrich, Mike Diamond, and myself will be there. If you guys see us floating around Providence, feel free to flag us. Feel free to talk us up. We're all really amazing people, and we all do a lot to try to cultivate a family sense in the community. So with that being said, we will not be streaming next Wednesday, but the Wednesday following that, which will be the 24th, I believe, we'll be coming back with a campaign. It'll be my Cthulhu Dark campaign called Miskatonic Shoreside Conservatory. So follow us on social media. You'll get some more fun information there, including a cover reveal and some sexy stuff there. So before we empty out the auditorium, let's go around one more time and say goodnight to our symphonic cast. Give us your name, where to find you, and what you do.
Symphony fans, thank you again for joining. I'm Heinrich Mohr. I hope that you will check me out on YouTube on Heinrich Mohr Presents. If you like the types of scenarios you saw here, if you like the idea of creating your own scenarios and presenting something on the Miskatonic Repository Drive-Thru RPG, you will find a lot of design videos there. You will find a lot of advice and a lot of support. We are here to help you with that, and we hope that you'll join that community.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. I am the assistant line developer for Mutants and Masterminds over at Green Ronin Publishing. So that is the world's greatest superhero RPG. If you want to mix it up from the horror and come punch people with capes, it's great. I'm also the author of the Titan City Chronicles, which is a fantasy noir genre or series of novels that mostly deals with angry wizards punching mobsters and monsters in the 1920s. And you can find me over at the Untold Stories Project, where I run 2 weekly Mutants and Masterminds campaigns. So come hang out with us, and I'll pass it down to Rena.
Muted.
Oh, no, you're muted.
It was muted.
I keep
And
unmuting
they're
it
back.
and it goes back. Okay, so yeah, I'm Rena, and you can find me on the Old Ways podcast for Horror on the Orient Express and Vampire the Masquerade. You can also find me on Ain't Slayed Nobody, on Y'all of Cthulhu, along with Bridget. We have some great chemistry on that show and some more fun things coming up with that. So if you like this show, you'll like that. You can also get my new scenario, which one of our lovely watchers has just won, Saturday the 14th, an homage to slasher flicks over on Drive-Thru RPG. So please pick that up, have a chat with me if you want to talk about the scenario. And you can find me on Discord for the Old Ways, for Symphony, for Ain't Slayed Nobody, for just about everything, all the time. As Rena, I love to chat with people and just talk Cthulhu and horror. And you can find me on Twitter for talk about horror and a lot of gay jokes and pictures of my cat at GlitterFayThey. So
Yeah, so I'm Mike. I'm the head of the Old Ways podcast, and I'm all over the place.
Yeah, he is.
So I want to thank our Symphony team for allowing me to come and join your stream. It was amazing. We had a ton of fun. I am going to, after our cast little Patreon recap is done, I'm going to be giving away some alien swag as part of our team up we had with Miskatonic University, including Colonial Marines book, the core book, and this fantastic alien starter set. So if you like horror, if you like that sort of mystery narrative investigative work, and you back our show, you can get on those kind of prizes because we do regular drawings all the time. You can get me at the Old Ways podcast on Twitter, or stop by any one of the Discords I'm on. Happy to talk.
I guess that that leaves me. I am Newish Indian Girl. I am not really a content creator, so I do not have.
You are now.
I guess, yeah, this was my debut as a content creator. So thank you, Symphony team, for having me here, because I have the least amount of horror gaming experience out of everyone here, but it was honestly so fun to play with everyone. And I have a tiny little Instagram called Newish Indian Girl, where I just post random pictures of graphic novels that I'm reading or video games that I'm playing. But again, just a very small Instagram. If you want to see me or, chat with me, I'm hanging out a lot on Bridget's server. So let me know what you're up to. Everyone's pretty friendly there. And there's a pet pic server that I love to frequent because Rena posts pictures of her cat there. So It's pretty great.
Guys, thank you. Holy shit, we actually did it. With all the obstacles that we had facing us, from COVID to a full washout, we did it. Cast and crew, I love you and I appreciate it. To our fans, we hope that you have enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful night. Mwah.
bye, y'all.
Yeah.